in Tijuana.
Can you hear me now? Let me know if you guys can hear me now. Are we good? Testing, 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 testing. Tell me if you hear the sound. Can you hear the sound? Cool. All right. I'm going to give myself a minute to center. I understand that this episode was late and that the sound was not working. Thank you guys for letting me know. Just give me a second. This is not a good day. It's a very frustrating day. But I'm gonna try to put it aside for a second. I would just like to say this is me putting aside a very, very frustrating day. You don't always have to say everything about everything always. People know when it took me forever at start. The reason why I was late today. Okay, we're about to go into it. The reason I was late today for the stream was because I thought I wanted to go get Starbucks because there's no central AC in Noble House. It is hot, has a hot box in here. I have every fan in this house in my office right now because it's so hot. We're dying. On top of that, there's like 82 wasp nests building outside of our house, and me and Shellen had to like run away from them today. And then a colony of ants decided to find every crevice in the living room and move in. They weren't really going for anything. They're just moving in because it's so hot outside. So I had to go through and we had to like defense the house and spray everything and move the furniture, and I had to clean and I had to spackle the parts, and so it's just been a very frustrating day. And then I started to go, oh, you know what, I'm going to reward myself by having a coffee right before the stream, and I'll go really quick because it's like 5:45 and the coffee place is like 2 minutes down the street. It's not going to take me 15 minutes. It is going to take me 15 minutes because people are detrimental to productivity. If you're someone who goes to your car, walks to your car, boop-a-doo, and the whole time you go to your car, you are doing nothing. So that when you get to your car, you still have to dig in your bag or your pocket for your keys. I'm so sorry. You are someone that I don't like. I don't like you because what a waste of time. That is so inefficient. Get your keys out before you go to your car. Or get your keys out while you're going to your car, because that's when people snatch you up. That's when you're waiting get in your car as fast as you can, lock the door as quickly as you can. Don't sit there on your phone. Just start the car and go. Go to where you need to go. Or if you're in the line at Starbucks and you know you have to wear your mask at the window, do not sit that whole time in the drive-thru line not wearing your mask. So then when it's your time to go up to the window, you have to slowly ease forward while you slowly put your mask on. And I'm behind you going, what were the last 7 minutes about? You were just sitting there, put your mask on. Guys, it is a pandemic. Put your mask on. She is unwell. It is not. It is a very frustrating day. I've been battling every pest in the world. I've been sweating profusely for the last 24 hours. And it took forever to get my Starbucks. But it's okay. We're here. We're here. I'm here with you guys. You guys are wonderful human beings. How y'all doing? Welcome to Beyond the Northern Wall, Episode 4, a brief and annotated history of the Corps, Part 4! Stress ball change. Or in the words of my bro TP, stress galba. Anyways, okay, I'm done. We're done. I'm done. So where we ended last week was we were finished with our collegiate run. It is the year 2016. And we are about to head into summer of 2016 for the Corps. That's where we are. That's where we is being at. So, I actually am really excited about this because when we got into the summer of 2016, it was one of the first times we knew for certain we were going to... Let me know if this is too loud or if you guys can hear me or not. If I need to move... Just tell me, like, girl, get away from the mic. You got feedback. Or come closer to the mic. I don't know. Or ASMR the mic. But anyways, we are going into summer and we are finally kind of prepared for summer because we've done AX now 2 years in a row. But every year so far, it's been kind of like a last minute toss up. We had a little bit more of a certainty that we were going to return to AX the year of 2016. And me and soulmate Sonali decided that we were going to do a sequel to Beyond the Northern Wall. Now, when we did Beyond the Northern Wall, we didn't imagine a sequel in the slightest. That wasn't even in the books. But because it turned into something so beloved, and it was a story that we really liked, we're like, why don't we continue the story? So, in January of 2016, now we're going to kind of hop around in the timeline. We're building for summer. But in January of 2016, me and Christine, if you don't know who Christine is, because you're like a new comrade, if you go back, he played our Armstrong in the FMA sets, and he's also in Anime Medley, he was our No Face. He was in there. Very, very tall, beautiful human being, knows everything about Pokemon. He also is the undisputed expert on Kingdom Hearts lore. I was going to say law, because Kingdom Hearts has laws. No, they don't. They don't follow any rules. Anyways, we decided we wanted to do Disney villains at the beginning of the year, because we're all Disney people, and me and someone were like, let's do Disney villains. Well, that's perfect. If we wanted to do Disney villains and kind of incorporate it into a sequel for Beyond the Northern Wall, let's do it in a way where it kind of hails back to what anime and or video games is. Anime, Japanese animation with Disney, Kingdom Hearts. Perfect. Now, Shishi is the Pokedex of Kingdom Hearts lore. And so me and Shishi had a Disney day. I was walking at this time off of my injury, and we decided to have a beautiful Disney day, just me and him together. And we went out. It was our own little Disney day, and we spent the whole day at Disney talking about the Kingdom Hearts story. So he was like, because I played Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. I hadn't played 3 yet. But he knew it. He also played the sequel or the prequels and everything. I didn't really like the prequels, so I just kind of stayed away from them. But he also he's like a mathematician, so he has facts just all up in his head. So I remember we had a really late lunch, early dinner at Flo's Diner. And if you knew me, I was working at DJ Dance and Drive, so Flo's was home. And that was like the epitome of it. We sat and we were eating dinner and we were building the storyline of how we were going to do this sequel. How Hanji was taking everyone home with the Pokedex, but as they traveled through the worlds, they passed the world where Maleficent was in, and Maleficent felt this power surge from the Pokedex and was able to pull them into her world of Kingdom Hearts. This was also a really great way for us to incorporate different characters into similar roles, because after we did Disney villains at Ultimate Brawl in the spring, it was actually the end of the road for a lot of our long-term corpsmen. So a lot of our corpsmen had been there from the beginning. They had spent 3 years with us. And we were just at a point where, if you know from the past episodes, 2016 year, the 106th year, was the changing period. We were changing from something that was more collegiate and fun into something that was a little bit more professional, more lucrative, more business-like. And it was just a separation of what people were looking for on the team to what we were doing on the team. So not a bad thing at all. Evolution is part of everyone's journey. You know, you'll never get to a Gyarados if you just stay a Magikarp forever. So we had to start evolving. And that evolution meant that we would get alumni for the first time. A lot of our long-standing corpsmen decided that after they did Disney Villains Ultimate Brawl, that was the end of the year for them, which was fine. But, and what was great was that Core always supports our alumni. Like I said, we're still friends with them. We still love them. But it was Jenna was moving on to other things. And we love Jenna. I mean, Jenna was still my roommate. But we love Jenna, and she was moving on to other things. And Hidalgo was moving on to other things. Here's the problem. Jenna was Mikasa, and Hidalgo was Jean. So we're like, how are we going to do this story of Levi's squad heading back home, but we're missing 2 essential people of the team? Well, that's where the whole storyline of pulling them and having half of them turn into Heartless and Nobodies came in. So me and Shishi created this initial storyline, and then I took that really meaty, heavily detailed story, and I brought it back to Soulmate, and me and Soulmate did a revision of it, because the reason why me and Soulmate worked so well together as creative directors and creative partners is that we both understand, 1, how each other works, how our creative minds work, and then 2, we both understand that when you translate something onto stage, it can't be perfect. A lot of people give criticisms about like, you should have done this on the stage, or you should have done this arc, or you should have added this detail. But here's the problem: you can't. Some things don't translate. Not every character can give a full monologue to their thought process to justify what you just showed them on stage. While you may love the fact that Todoroki eats cold soba, that is not a detail that needs to be added into the Boku no Hero set, because it is a waste of time. And as has been demonstrated at the beginning of this episode, I don't like things that waste time. So we're not going to waste time. So we had to take this really, really meaty, heavy storyline and whittle it down to what absolutely had to be shown. With that, we created the alternative to having Mikasa and Jean in the story without them actually being in the story. So we had it so that Maleficent got a hold of 3 of the squad members, took their hearts, turned them into heartless, and of course their shells turned into full-fledged nobodies because they had strong hearts, as per the lore. It was great because we went so in depth that we gave names to the 3 nobodies and never used those names. We never used those names. We followed the rule that anyone who's a nobody had an X in their name, like Organization 13 had an X in their name. And so for Jean, it was Jackson. For Mikasa, it was Zamixa. And for Armin, I couldn't remember Armin's for the longest time. I was like, Armin, Zarmin. No, it was Minrax. So we had their 3 names, never used it once. But for Jean, we had Eddie play his nobody, which was Jackson. For Mikasa, we had Rio play her nobody as Zamixa. And then Pikadude, if you know, played Armin when we did Beyond the Northern Wall at Anime California the year before, got to be Armin's nobody in Into the Kingdom as Minrax. That's like, if the meme with the girl with the math around her head, that was that moment right there. So anyways, we had them as the 3 nobodies. And also because Liz was there for Armin, but Liz was playing Yzma for Into the Kingdom. So we can't just have her, like, she couldn't play both parts. So that's where we're like, Armin's perfect. We're going to keep everyone else part of the squadron, and they'll be, the whole story is that they got pulled into this world, they got to look for their friends, they got to get them back, so then they can, and put their hearts back into their bodies, so then they can get back home. So a whole new journey for the happy family that is Levi's squad. When we designed this was going to be our first time where we really went in depth with props on stage. We had set pieces, and we had dabbled in cosplay, but I hadn't really taken on the huge endeavor of creating cosplays kind of from scratch, and this was my first time doing that. So I got to design the squad's outfits, and then I built them, and I had a lot of help, of course, from Pantry. But I will take it that I got to like kind of build them from the ground up, and then they helped with all the details in it. And I'm really proud of those details. So we had Sora. Sora was in final form, his final form outfit, which was Iro. And we added, everything was to a T, except we added the core symbol on the shoulder. So there was that little hidden thing. And I picked final form because, I mean, you could have picked his normal, yellow, red, blue, and black outfit, but I loved Final Form because it kind of indicated that we were at the end of Kingdom Hearts 2. It was an indicator that we weren't in the middle of the story without actually having to say it, because you don't really get Final Form until you're later on in the storyline. And then there's also the idea of like, well, my favorite one personally was Valor Form. That was the one that I was played. And like, there's Master Form, but I don't like yellow. But Final Form was just kind of a nice encompassing, and it was a neutral color. It didn't like pop too much on stage. It wasn't too awkward. Then from there, we designed everyone else in the squad off of Final Fantasy characters and Kingdom Hearts characters, kind of. So Aaron, because he was supposed to reflect the main protagonist, which was Sora, I made Aaron's outfit look exactly like Sora's, just in the color scheme of Survey Corps. So I found this really cool iridescent silver green metallic-y material, and I used it to bring them all together in this one theme. And I added it to Aaron's outfit, which was essentially Sora's, but Survey Corps. And instead of the design, I think he had the core design too, but he had the Survey Corps logo on him. So it was a patch on the breast pocket. Then we had Koki. Not Koki. Connie. Koki and Connie are synonymous. So we had Connie, and I designed Connie's kind of off of Cloud, but kind of not. So it was originally supposed to be based off of Cloud's outfit, but I ended up finding this Under Armour padding of football gear, and so we ended up transforming that into Connie's outfit with like chains and everything. What's really cool is that Koki has a beautiful extension, and so on his pants, on the leg that he extends, on the bottom part where his hamstring is, that's where we put the cervical symbol. So when you saw him extend or do a tilt or do a bob ma, that's when you saw the cervical symbol. It was kind of a hail not just to where all of them had different placings for their symbols. Oh, my earrings. Do you guys like my Jedi Order earrings? It was also a hail to Koki as a dancer, that was his like strongest point. His was really fun to make. And then Sonali's was actually my favorite because Sonali I based her off of Yuna from X2. I love Yuna. Yuna was my very first cosplay that I ever made in my entire life. And then so I had practice on it years before, and here I was, finally knowing how to sew, finally knowing how to do this stuff, and I made her Yuna cosplay. It was absolutely beautiful. Her skirt was made out of the green iridescent. Her cervical wings were on her shorts, and all her accessories, and then Solmei's just beautiful. So she looked stunning as Yuna. And then I fashioned Hanji after Aerith. Now I did, as I tend to do with cosplays, I always do mine last because I live with myself. It's weird when people don't live with themselves. I live with myself, so I could form it to myself and work on it on myself at the end. So I want to get everyone's out to them. By the time I got to mine, I was kind of done. It wasn't even sewn, you guys. It was just cut and heat bonded clothes, and I didn't try it all. It is 85% just accessories on me. I just bought the leggings, and I bought this like white thing, and I literally cut that overlay out of the whatever remaining fabric was there. It is a hodgepodge of stuff, and I heat bonded the edges closed, and then I added like whatever remaining embellishments. A hodgepodge, and I was like, there, Hanji's done. But what I did like about Hanji, the only thing I ever spent more time on was the goggles. Hanji's goggles had someone else in it. I didn't put it on there. But a puff paint of the cervical symbol on the goggles, which was cool because Hanji wore them on their head right here. So I always had my symbol was on the goggles. Hanji's iconic goggles. Now, for Levi had to be special because Levi is Levi and Rostin is Rostin. And he just looks really good in a dry fit shirt. So I fashioned him. It was supposed to be after Vincent. So Levi was supposed to be Vincent's, but as Core knows, I like to watch certain shows when I'm creating things. And those shows become very indicative of that era of creation. For example, a year later, when I was creating the kimonos for Ronin Scouts, that whole time I was making those kimonos, because they took 5 ever, I was watching the Great British Baking Show. So in my head, every time I watch the Great British Baking Show, it just reminds me of the time when I did the kimonos for Ronin Scouts. When I was making the cosplays for Into the Kingdom, I was watching Spartacus from Stars. Spartacus from Stars is such a good show. It's rated R, so it's not for kids. There's a lot of nudity, but there's also a lot of gore and blood and fighting. A lot of times when corpsmen would come over, they're like, oh my god, what are you watching? Because all you hear down in the workroom is people dying gruesome deaths. Like, gruesome deaths. That was my ploy. I just loved it. I love Spartacus. It's so good. The actors are amazing. So, if you notice, or if you look at Levi's outfit, it looks more like a Roman soldier's cape swag than it does Vincent. And that's why. Because I was watching Spartacus and I'm just watching Roman soldiers. And I just thought it looked good on Rostin. So he has like this whole shoulder paladin thing going on. This beautiful swag swoop of fabric. His survey corps symbol is right here. And it like draped down. And he just looks cool because he's Rostin. Like, man, it sucks. He looks good in everything. I hate it. But like, I love it. Because I just kind of want to dress him up. And so that was everyone's outfits for the squadron. And then the Keyblades were a great collaborative effort with me and our prop master Yosh, which you guys know is Josh. This This is melting. This is how hot it is. I'm dead. You guys. Oh! Me and Yosh designed the keyblades off of the Attack on Titan manga. So, I'm going to say spoiler alert. It's not really a spoiler alert because this is like a manga spoiler alert from like 5 years ago. So if you can't say like, oh my god, I didn't know. No, you had time. It's like saying spoiler alert to anything Naruto. Really? Girl. Okay, so with the handle of the Keyblade, one half of the handle was supposed to look like the triggers from the 3DM gear, which was super cool. So I had like the silver handle and everything, and then like the black base. And then the other side was supposed to be, it was a silver thunder stick. So in the manga, Hanji designs these thunder sticks that go on the arms of the Survey Corps, and it was to help penetrate the armor of the Titans to get to their nape. So you would literally take this thunder stick and you would like jab it and shoot it into their nape. It would explode because it was just like a nuclear weapon, and it would help break their armor so that you could get to the nape and take them out. So that was that side. So it was the thunderstick on one side, the trigger on the other, and then we kept the actual key part of the Keyblade as the Kingdom Hearts crown. So you know, like you see a bunch of the Keyblades that go on in the story and they get really elaborate and whatnot. We're like, you know what, let's keep it nice and simple, because that's what we were gonna like make it into a sword, but like the sword would just be the sword, because it would be the shaft of the Keyblade, and that's okay, whatever. And we're like, we need to have it, you know, correlate back to Kingdom Hearts anyways, and we're dancing with these, so we're not going to make it too intense. But Yosh made these from scratch. He made them out of a combination of wood and 3D printing, and then he painted it, and they were so durable and awesome. Those Keyblades were so much fun to dance with, and they just made you feel so cool. I know Rossin loved it because it was so perfect. Only Levi would have 2 Keyblades, and so he had to get used to holding them the way Levi holds his swords, which was one which was upright, and then the other one which is face down like a dagger. If you don't know, the reason why Levi fights like that is because when he was a kid, he used to fight with a dagger knife before he ever got his hands on 3M gear. So that's how he treats a giant sword, kind of like a dagger. All that information I just gave you, with all the intensity of the thundersticks and the fighting style, is just proof that we know our shenanigans. And so when people say, oh my gosh, these people have never watched the anime or read the manga, they're liars, and they're poopy. You're poopy. No one asked you. Let's throw it down. I'll kill you in a knowledge war. They say lip sync assassins. This is knowledge assassins right here, guys. Anyways, so we go into Kingdom Hearts, or into the kingdom, and we develop it and we build it. And we got to perform it not only on the community stage, we returned to the community stage, but then we also got to return to the Masquerade stage. We haven't been on the Masquerade stage since we did Attack on Titan 2 years prior. So we impressed AX so much from the year before that we got asked to come back to Masquerade. Awesome sauce. So awesome. The problem was, on community stage, we had to film. We had to fill an hour slot. And then on Masquerade stage, we had to take whatever hour slot of a performance from the community stage and cut it down to about 30 to 35 minutes. So our set was about 47 minutes in total. And then we had to cut it down to 35. That's a lot. That is a lot to cut down. Especially when you think in terms of the actual operations of the set. A company of dancers learns to do a set a certain way. They learn the order of the set, they know what pieces are in, they lock down how long it takes to do a costume change, how long it takes to do a runaround backstage, how long it takes to do prop changes or set changes, everything. It's a science, it's down to a T. Now they had to take all of that and then lose time. So say it took you about one whole piece to get on your new outfit for a costume change, and now when we went to Masquerade stage, that whole piece is plucked right out because we don't have time for it. So now you got to figure out how to put clothes on in no time available to you. That's crazy. And we did it. We had to have a whole show list in the back because pieces got taken out between community stage and Masquerade stage, and even if you knew exactly what was going on, in the throes of adrenaline, you're just standing there like, what is next? So we had the show list pasted everywhere so people could be like, oh my God, what am I doing right now? Because the last thing is you have a moment where you blank out for 2 seconds and then that's it. You're done. You'll never get it back. Stress ball change. Sorry, my volume was really loud. I apologize for that. Oh my gosh, I just noticed James is in the chat. I feel like a celebrity. You guys, James is my nemesis. We decided we are Professor X and Magneto sitting across each other on a chessboard. That's just going to be our lives. I'm not even going to give you backstory on that. That is me and James. Forever trapped in a game of chess, not moving a single piece, but just anticipating each other's next moves. Anyways, so AX 2016 was really awesome. I think it was the first time we did all 4 days, or at least me and Sonali were there all 4 days. Like, we had time off from our work to go and attend the con all 4 days and do all of our recon work, do all of our business work. There was more people we had to meet, more connections we had to make. While we were there for AX, we would actually do business meetings for other cons at AX. So AX was like not just our convention that we performed at, but a lot of people on Core don't know that when me and Sonali go to conventions, and now when me and Sonali and Nifa go to conventions, we are actually going off to different meetings to solidify and lock down other performances. We are constantly working. And I'm sorry, people don't give my directors enough credit that they deserve. And so I'm going to take this moment to give Nifa and Sonali, Sammy and Sonali, crazy credit as directors. So when people think it is done and the day is done, it is not done. They are working 25/9, doing things that the team wouldn't even expect to worry about. So anytime anything happens, people think that they know what goes behind it. You couldn't even imagine what Sonali and Nifa do at a convention, let alone at our homes when we're not at rehearsal or in preparation for a giant performance. There is not a moment when our phone isn't like this, because I cannot tell you how many crazy things have happened at a convention and are fixed before that team walks through the door for tech. Leading up to a tech for Masquerade, our board is so on it. We are communicating. We got someone who's working with sound. We got someone who's prepping up for video. We got someone who's handling props coming in. We have someone who's wrangling up the team. We also got someone who's just running around trying to go to like con ops to communicate with people because they're not communicating with us. We are our own runners. It is absolutely amazing. So that's my little shout out to them. Anytime anything is done, you have no idea how much hard work those directors put behind it. And so at AX was really fun because that's what we did. Me and Soulmate were having dinners with people and drinks with people to solidify contracts and stuff. It was really cool, and that would just grow and grow and grow from then on. This was also the time where Core stayed in an Airbnb. Kind of like a big chunk of us stayed in one tiny little Airbnb together across the street from the convention center that we didn't fit in. We did not fit in. But it was so much fun. My favorite is, 2 things were my favorite staying in there. One was me and Soulmate got to be there the night before everyone else showed up. So we kind of got to have a mini vacation with just us together. That's my favorite thing with conventions, is just kind of being there alone with my soulmate, because then it's just us being soulmates and we get to like have fun. We ordered dinner, we watched TV, we just like prepped for the weekend, and then everyone showed up. And it was funny because me and Soulmate and one other person shared the bed. There was like one bed, one couch, and then there was like a walk-in closet, and Rio and Rostin were crammed in the closet together. And there was one morning, we opened the door to wake them up. Rio is spread like this. She is a starfish. And poor Rostin, she has pushed him flat against the wall. He is on his side, facing the wall like this. He is flat. And we're like, oh my gosh, how is he sleeping like that? Dead asleep. Dead asleep. Like, they are best friends for sure. I was like, because that takes love to take that. It was so funny. Oh, I was dying. Real sleeping positions. Yes, Bro TV, real sleeping positions are iconic. Oh no, don't do that to me. There you go. Don't be sorry, Sushi. Never be sorry for who you are, because you're the most beautiful, most entertaining human being on this planet. We also got to, it was weird because we had a lot of props that year, and so transporting like our giant platform and all the keyblades, I just had a wagon filled to the brim with keyblades and every prop imaginable, and like walking around with it. It was intense. But AX was really fun that year. I can't, there's like so much from that year that I can't remember, but I know it was super fun, especially because a lot of core got to do different cosplays outside of core for AX that year. That was like one of the first years everyone got to go and create their own cosplays. So I think that was like, we were starting to get a hang of it, so we knew how savvy we were in terms of like getting things done and splitting our time between business and pleasure. And then 2016 was the year that we finally got to San Diego Comic-Con. Now, if you have not seen my story of San Diego Comic-Con, I'm going to tell you about it, because the journey to San Diego Comic-Con was the most intense journey of my life. Back in 2008, I wanted to go to San Diego Comic-Con. 2008 was when I moved down to Southern California. I lived up in NorCal, and I knew there was a convention down in San Diego where nerds were nerds, like out in public, and got to be nerdy with other nerds. And I was like, oh, I want to be a part of that, but I live in NorCal. And then 2008, I moved down to SoCal, and I was like, I'm closer. I can get closer to it. So for years, since I moved down to Southern California, I tried to get a badge to San Diego Comic-Con. But here's the thing. Back in the day, I don't know if it's changed now, but back in the day, you got first access if you had gone to San Diego Comic-Con before. So for those of us who have never been to San Diego Comic-Con, it was hard to get a badge. I would be up the day tickets went on sale at my computer. They went on sale at 7 a.m. I'd be at my computer at 6:30 waiting, and at 6:59 poised, finger on the trigger. And then 7 o'clock would roll around, and I'd hit that button, and I'd go in, and I'd preliminary fill out information that said, what's your name? And my name was Kayla Malari. And then I'd hit the button to go into the waiting room of death, and I'd be in that waiting room for hours, and then I would not get a badge, because then I'd get that horrible sign that said it was sold out. And for years that happened. Every single year I'd be like, oh my gosh, I didn't get in. Oh my gosh, I didn't get in. Oh my gosh, surprise, didn't get in. So then in 2012, was it 2012? Yes. In 2012, I said to myself, you know what? If I can't get in as an attendee, I'm going to get in as an invited guest. If I can't get in on this side of the panel, I'm going to get in on the other side of the panel. If I can't get in the audience, I'm going to get in on the stage. And I was angry. And so I was like, this is my determination. So in 2014, me and Matt got to actually work for the Simpsons booth out at Comic-Con. So random. One of our friends in the dance community hooked us up with a job, and we were like character hosts for the Simpson characters. And wow, look at, guys. What's going on with this hair? This heat doesn't like this hair. One of our friends was one of our friends got us a job being character hosts, and we were outside of the Hilton, so we weren't even in the actual convention center. We weren't in there. We worked outside for like 3 days. It was really cool because it was on the lawn of the Hilton, and their booth was right next to the Gotham booth. Was it Gotham? It was either Gotham or just Batman. Oh, no. It was for Batman Arkham City. Wow, that was a long time ago. Arkham City's video game. And it was a Batman zipline. And so we got to work out there, and then the last day that we were working, we were supposed to get badges to attend the inside part of the convention. Well, we didn't get those badges, so we just kind of walked around the outside, and we were like, well, that sucks. But at least we got to go to San Diego Comic-Con, and we got to see the stuff outside. Following year, 2015, when we didn't know we were going to get into AX, me and somebody were like, okay, we got to go find other avenues to perform. So that's when I contacted San Diego Comic-Con for the first time and gave them the proposal for the core dance crew as a performing group. And that's when Martin messaged back, and I remember his message saying, because we sent him the video of the 2014 Attack on Titan performance, and his email was so long. And it said, I was not planning on watching all 20 minutes of this performance. But by the time I realized it was done, I had watched all 20 minutes of this performance. He was like, you guys are so amazing. I love what you've done. But it was like around May, I think, that we emailed him. He's like, it's a little too late in the year to schedule you for this year's San Diego Comic-Con, so let's stay in contact. So we didn't perform for 2015's San Diego Comic-Con. What we did do is we went down there to attend it again on the outside because couldn't get a badge in. But I went down with, it was myself, Andrew, G, Matt, my sister, Caleb, and one of our friends, Jordan. And we got to go around as a group in cosplay and attend the outside venues and the outside exhibits of San Diego Comic-Con, which was really fun. That's where Nobody Knows Who You Are happened. So that was 2015. Then the following year, in spring of 2016, as I said in the last episode, we got to perform with Martin for San Diego Comic-Con because they also put on WonderCon, and that's when we got to be on the Microsoft stage doing our Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and X-Men performance, which was our segue and how good that performance was into us finally going to San Diego Comic-Con with a badge that got us inside the doors. The day I was so excited. Only about 15 of us went, and we went as X-Men. We just decided to do X-Men. We took the X-Men that was from WonderCon, and we just took out the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s part, and we just made a whole X-Men set. I think that performance, I was Rogue. And last minute, I made Matt's Iceman cosplay, which was, if you go back and look at those pictures, you guys, that was a really good cosplay. And like, I got that coat at Goodwill, and I made that cosplay in all of like 2 hours at home, and it was great. And then I did his makeup in the car, and it was great. So I was really proud of that. Anyways, my coffee is melted, and it's dripping on me. Stress ball change. Why do I have a towel in my... Where did this towel come from? Nothing in my world makes sense. Anyways. We got to go, and we were trying to find parking. I forget who was driving. Someone else was driving a car. Because I was in the backseat putting Matt's makeup on him. And then we had to park, and we had to gather together as a group outside by the fountain before we could go in all together and get our badges. And I remember just like on the edge of my seat, because I was like, oh my gosh, after all this time, I'm finally gonna get to go in. And I remember going in, and I was a little emotional. There was one point where Matt was like, do you need like a minute to be away from the team? And I was like, yeah. And I went off kind of on my own for a second, and I kind of just, I didn't cry, but I got that feeling where I was like, we did it. We're here. Mother trucking did it. Like, oh my gosh, I've wanted this for so long. And that exhibit hall was beautiful. We didn't even get to all of it because we were only there for, I think, one day. And then we did the tech for that stage. And when we performed X-Men for that masquerade group, there was about 5,000 fit in the room in that main events hall in the convention center. It wasn't Hall H because the big stage was in the main events hall, but there was about 5,000 that could fit in that room, and then another 3,000 that were watching in separate rooms where the masquerade was being broadcast. And when we got on that stage and performed X-Men, the crowd was just kind of not expecting that at all, and we got such a good reception, and I felt it. I was like, I just watched a panel on that stage earlier in the day, and I was like, I did it. I said that if I wanted to go to San Diego Comic-Con, I'm going to do it on the stage instead of being the audience, and we were there, and like, I can't tell you how good it feels to be on a stage, because I've always attributed being a dancer as to being the closest I can get to being a superhero. And dressed as Rogue on the stage of San Diego Comic-Con, finally, after years, was the epitome of feeling like a superhero. It was amazing. And then after the performance, when we walked out, we also got that's when we started our friendship with Saber Guild. Love the people over at Saber Guild. But when we walked out at the end, people were coming out of the convention hall or the performance hall, and they were like saying, oh my gosh, that was so amazing. And Martin even came up to us and he said, that's the first time people stayed for the halftime. People usually leave. He was like, people were getting up, starting to leave, and then came back and sat down when you guys started dancing. So Martin was like, from here on out, you guys have a performance with me. And it's been that way, which was amazing. Like, what a great first time performing at San Diego Comic-Con. It was awesome. And then we ended that summer with rehashing Into the Kingdom for Anime California. I think it was the last Anime California because it was at Long Beach, the Long Beach Convention Center. Now, this Anime California was a little different for a couple of things. One, our beautiful Dr. Facilier, my super, Nagugaloo, was moving to Australia. So we lost our Facilier. It was heartbreaking. He's one of my... if you know me, you know I talk about Nagugaloo about 82 times in a day. I actually was just messaging him today. We were messaging earlier this morning and catching each other up and had a moment where we were just like, I miss you and I love you so much. And he was like, I miss you and I love you so much. But I love Nagugaloo. And so when he left, it was like, you can't replace Dr. Facilier. So we need a different villain to fill his spot in Into the Kingdom. So we had Tobias, which, if you didn't know, Toby's birthday was yesterday. Someone came home. Ah, who's home? Oh, Ralston's home. Tobias. Toby's birthday was yesterday. God. If our joke is, it's not a joke, it's the truth. Toby is God. We just call him God. So God's birthday, it was Happy Tobias was yesterday. He came in and he played Hades. The coolest, slickest Hades we've ever seen. Also, because he already played Beast with the blue makeup, Hades makeup was just another walk in the park. So we redid a whole number to add Hades in there instead of Facilier. And then we were also doing an opening ceremonies for Anime California that was going to be different from Into the Kingdom. And the opening ceremonies, their theme was like a beach theme. Like, you know, the typical beach in anime. And so we decided, oh my gosh, we're going to do Free Boys. But it's going to be like Free Boys. And they're like, the Free Boys are like a group of idol boys. And then they have their backup dancer fangirls. But they just treat us like crap. That was like the idea behind it. It was so stupid. But I watched that performance recently. It was so funny. I actually really loved it. I was really impressed by it. I think me, Soulmate, my sister, and Lizzie Chibs were the main girls on stage. And like Shishi was there, and Nifa was there. I forget someone else was there. And we were wearing it was basically soy socks as the backup dancers to the Free Boys. What was crazy about that performance was when we got to the stage, they had, and I'm going to reveal some stuff about the convention, they had put in an order for a certain stage dimension. I'm going to draw this out for you guys. I'm going a little over today because I was late. So, like a normal stage, this was supposed to be how the stage looked, like a square. This is what the stage was instead. It was a runway. The stage was a runway. These parts weren't supposed to be gone. I remember when we walked in for tech and we're like, oh, there's like stage missing. It's more like a runway. Okay, we can make that work. And I was talking to one of the techs while, they were running the rehearsal. And they're like, no, yeah, we ordered those parts. And they didn't come in. And I said, what? And they're like, yeah, they didn't give us all of the stage. So they were just missing pieces of stage. And we're like, oh no, this is the stage we're performing on for Into the Kingdom. There's a lot of us on Into the Kingdom, and there's a lot of set pieces. There's a whole platform. There's 2 moving backdrops and so many entrances. What are we going to do? Also, there weren't really stairs to get onto the stage from all sides. So there were stairs. If you see here, there were stairs in the back area, but then you could go off stage on this part, but there weren't stairs there. They were just the stage. So again, if you remember, I had come back from my injury and I had come back from my surgery and I was dancing again. I finally danced for Into the Kingdom, but I was still being good. I wasn't doing crazy leaps or anything super insane to my knee because I was like, if I can dance, that's great, but I'm not going to do tricks. There was a part, if you go back, I don't know if this performance is up. I have to go see if this performance is available somewhere. But there's a part where the squad has to come back in for the final battle scene. It's the battle scene where we're all fighting. It's Sora leads us and we fight against the Heartless and the villains. And I cannot get up on the stage because the stage was at like my waist level. And you see me try to get up. I'm like, maybe if I put my leg up, but I'm like, oh, I don't have enough strength in that leg. So I'm like, okay, maybe not. And then I like try to like roll onto my stomach, and I was like, oh my god, Hanji is struggle busting, and no one notices. No one can help me up because they're all battling. So I'm like, I don't know how to get on the stage. So I eventually just like potato roll. I just like a sack of potatoes roll on the stage, and then like awkwardly scramble up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, at least this is in their character. Like this is in Hanji's character. So that was it was very, very awkward. But that Anime California was actually a great one. That was the last time we did Anime California, and it was really fun because, again, once you do a set that you've already performed, it's not like you're chill about it, but you have a better idea, so you get to kind of enjoy it a little bit more. And because you're kind of doing something the same thing, you can find the nuances in the performance and have like a better connection with everyone. With that performance, at the end, NJ reminded us of this just recently. Pikadude. If you remember Pikadude, named James, he was Armin's nobody. At the end, when we stab their hearts, this sounds terrible, when we take the Keyblade and we stab them in the chest, and we return the hearts back to their original humans. You guys, Kingdom Hearts lore does not make sense, but it does. They, go back and everyone is wearing white, and we do like the big finale. At the end, we all come on stage, and then like we have our first generation confetti streamer cannons go off. Everyone's on stage. Pikadude is in the corner eating marshmallows. He's just eating marshmallows. And he like gives the only one who notices on stage is NJ. And so NJ looks at him and he like offers her one, and she just takes it and eats it. And we didn't notice until we look back at the video and we're like, is he eating something? We laughed because I remember when we asked that, like NJ was like, why were you eating marshmallows? And he had an explanation for it. And the explanation made so much sense. And I can't remember, no one remembers what the explanation was. But if I can find that performance, Minrax or Armin's nobody is just eating marshmallows on stage. I don't know. I mean... So it was super funny. It was hilarious. It was so great. And that ended our 2016 106th season. Finally, that one took a long time. That one took 3 episodes, you guys. So much happened in 2016. I didn't even pull up my document of what I'm supposed to be talking about in 2016. So we did everything. Oh my gosh, you know what I forgot that we did that year? Was HHI. Also, what happened in that year is we did HHI in Las Vegas. Honestly, HHI is this big competition where all these hip-hop teams from all over the world come and compete. And you know what we did? We went and we did a Pokemon Go set. And after we did our tech and our first run-through whatever before the preliminaries happened, we went and everyone's like rehearsing. Our group got in our cars. We found out there were open houses down the street near a lake. And they were like $1 million mansions. So we went and we walked through every one of those open houses as a group. We're planning how we would all live together and like assigning rooms and just doing, MTV's Cribs with each other. That's how we rehearsed for HHI in Las Vegas. I kid you not. There was an infinity pool in one. We decided Lotus sleeps under the stairs in another. Like that we just hung out. And then we all were in Soulmate's family had a condo out in Las Vegas, and so we were all staying there, and it was so much fun because we just had nights where we would, cook dinner together and hang out, and we created one of our original promos for our core shirt in that condo to Beyonce's, was it 7-Eleven is the song? Yeah, dude, that was HHI for us, and we competed, and it was fine. They didn't make it past the preliminaries, but it was okay. It was a good experience. We were able to hang with the strongest of the team. We saw a lot of like people that we know in that world, so it was like a good reconnector. And then we're like, you know what, we in that summer we tried a bunch of different things. We did conventions, we got to do San Diego Comic-Con, we did HHI, and we were like, you know what? I think our niche, oh my gosh, wait. I'm gonna blow some Korsman's minds. You guys, that was the summer we got asked to audition for America's Got Talent. Do you remember that? I hope Sonali remembers that. And I think, Liz, were you there? We got asked to audition for America's Got Talent. We got an email. It was a scout. He had seen our stuff. And he was just like, I think you guys would be great to audition for America's Got Talent. Now, again, like I said, I've been in the industry. I was like, I don't think we're the right ones for it. But you know what? Let's try it. So we did soy socks. We wore soy socks, outfits, and wigs because we were like, we can't do copyrighted characters. So let's just do something that's weird and crazy. And then we put together like a really quick set. And we went and we did. So if you don't know how these auditions go, I auditioned for So You Think You Can Dance season 5, and I made it to Vegas in season 5. And it was the same kind of audition process for So You Think as it is for America's Got Talent. So you don't actually audition in front of the judges until you've done like 3 or 4 auditions with producers, with like scouts first, and then producers, and then like creative directors, and then another set of producers, and then you can get to the stage. It's a whole process. And so it was held at the LA Convention Center, which is funny because when we went back, we're like, wow, just like a month ago we were here for Anime Expo. And we did the first one in the theater part of the convention center. Yeah, we did the assisted lift whacking and the leg whacking in that. That was so cool. I love that. And we did it like, we practiced it in the theater for the scouts, and they loved it. And then we got to go in a ballroom to perform it for the initial producers. And there was a whole group of these older women, they were like middle-aged women, that were dressed as like 40s tappers. They looked like Rockettes. They were so good, so stinking cute. We were like cheering for them, and they were cheering for us. It was so great. And then we performed, and we auditioned, and we didn't get picked, which we were like, but we kind of get it. Like, our niche was 30-minute performances and cosplay telling stories. So this is kind of not, like, we can't show you everything we can do in a minute and a half. That's not, like, we're not flying off of things. We are storytellers, and you can't tell a well-rounded story in that short amount of time. So it was a good experience, though. That summer was us trying out all these different avenues, and we realized, me and Soulmate were like, Core is going to pave this way of a business that no one knows they need yet, which is a cosplay dance crew performing at all these different events that you knew you needed entertainment at, but you just needed someone to create that entertainment for you to know that you needed it. So 2016 was such a tumultuous year. It was an experimental year. And because we had lost a lot of our, or not lost, I shouldn't say lost, because a lot of our original Korsmen ended up moving on to other things that we supported them in, we were looking for some new blood. So next week, I will get to tell you guys about that new blood in the 107th, because a lot of your favorite Korsmen came in on that 107th season. But that will be happening next week. So that ends part 4. Here's the thing with next week, though. And give me a second to fix this, because I have to fix the mic. Before I switch over, there's going to be a different time slot for next week for this show.
Are you done?
There we go. No.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, go ahead, babe. Oh, my hair is stuck in my earrings. So next week, I will actually be returning to work at Barnes & Noble. Yay! And also, I'm working online and stuff, so my hours are going to be changed. So I know every week it was Wednesdays at 6. Starting next week, which is perfect because technically today is the beginning of new stuff. That's it. So next week will be a nice indicator of a new season and a new squadron and new everything. And so my time slot will now change to, where is it? Over here. It's over here. There. New time is at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, starting next week. So I'll be streaming at 8 p.m. 8 p.m. going on to 9, because I'll be at work until 7:30. I think. I should probably check my schedule. But yes, new time next week. We will go into part 5 of the history of Core. We are going into the 107th Squadron, which is one of my favorite auditions ever, because there's a great story for Urban with the 107th Squadron audition. It is my favorite audition story ever. It is hilarious. And that is the year that we created Anime Medley Set. It is the year that I think it's our last year of doing the collegiate runs of Fusion and UB, and it is the year that we closed out the Epic Beyond the Northern Wall trilogy with the final installment of Return to the Unknown. So that's all next week, the 107th Squadron. Until then, I hope you guys tune in this Friday. My bro TP Liz will be holding her Improve Your Improv session on Instagram at 7 p.m. this Friday. And her special improv guest is going to be Lorraine, my Momo, Creation Bay. And then on today was part 5. Oops. I don't know what part I'm on. That's okay. Are you sure? I thought it was part 4. No, I might be wrong. Maybe it's part 5. Anyways, next week will be part something. But this Friday will be Improve Your Improv at 7. And then on Sunday, you can watch Koki eat another vegetable. This week's episode, I guess, he did onions. It was so good because he got to grill them. And you guys, we got compliant answer. Like, he'll eat onions now. And also, it's fun watching Koki eat things. I don't know, he's like a mukbanger. Do you know what mukbang is? Mukbang's when people eat stuff, you just kind of watch them eat it. And he's also a pretty good cook. So, go tune in on Sunday at 6:30 on this YouTube channel, and you will see Koki eat another vegetable. What vegetable is it? We don't know yet. I don't know. Maybe it's the steak vegetable. And before next week on the 27th, make sure that you guys put your pre-orders in for our hats. This is not, I was going to pick this up, this is not the hat. This is actually the hat we use for our Pokemon Go set. Isn't that funny? I just happen to be sitting here. This is our Pokemon Go set hat for HHI that we did. But put your orders in for our core hats. The orders end on not the 27th, sorry, the 26th. They end on the 26th. You can head to our website, to the core closet, and you can put your pre-orders there, and they will get mailed out to you. And they are super awesome. And then after that pre-order is gone, and we don't know when it's going to come back. And we have more merchandise coming up for you guys in the future, so make sure you're tuning into our website at www.thecoredancecrew.com to stay up to date with everything. We are going to be doing an overhaul of the site with extra things, and if you want exclusive access to all of the information before anyone else gets it, even before our alumni get it, then please join us on Patreon. You can become a patron for just $2 a month. You get access to our patron group on Facebook, where we get to just talk. You guys get to talk with all the active corpsmen, and it's so much fun. And we like, patrons are just friends. It's just a great community where we get to chat and everything. That's just for $2, and you get access to our monthly episodes, which, if you saw the advertisement in the beginning, episodes include dance tutorials, special live chats, alumni appearances, and just fun games and videos and behind-the-scenes footage. So, please support the core for just $2 a month on our Patreon. Patreon is the same. You just look up the Core Dance Crew. Other than that, I will see you guys next week. Please be safe. We are in the throes of pandemic. So wear your mask, social distance. No one is the exception. Just because you know someone with the virus doesn't make it okay that you're not following protocols. That's an argument, guys. People say that. They're like, I know someone who has COVID. And I'm like, then you you extra suck because that's just what you just said. So, we are in a pandemic. Be kind to each other. Wear a mask. Social distance. And please don't die in the heat if you are feeling the heat up here. Also, I will ask that you guys send out good vibes and whatever prayers you believe in to Northern California, my hometown where my parents live. In Northern California, they're experiencing a huge wildfire. A lot of my friends who live in Vacaville, because I lived in Sassoon and Fairfield, which is literally like next to Vacaville. A lot of my friends have been evacuated. They are all safe, and my parents are safe. My parents are like, chill. I messaged them this morning, and I was like, oh my gosh, are you guys okay? And they're like, yeah, it's just really smoky and orange. How are you guys doing? And I'm like, Mom, Dad, you guys are crazy, and I love you both. But just keep good thoughts out for them. Protective thoughts. Make sure they're safe and they're okay. But yes, this world is a crazy place. Make sure you're kind. And if you're not kind, then just shut up and go away. With that being said, we're going to call it out. So tomato on 3. 1, 2, 3. My stomach growled. Wow, you didn't hear it, but I felt it. That means she's got to eat some food. With that being said,